Hi everyone, Pamela here, offering some time to ask Melchizedek. I always enjoy hearing what wisdom can come out of my mouth, which is so interesting to me. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Busby, and I am a channeler for a divine being and spiritual teacher called Melchizedek. He has a very specific mission on this planet, and I'm glad that I'm able to align with him in this mission, which has become my mission as well. Hi, Fabiana. Glad you could join in. So I just want to take a moment to share this to a couple of places. Hey, Mila. Hi, Karen. Mila, I've been thinking about you, wanting to touch base with you. Hopefully we'll get a chance before too long. Okay, again, I just want to share this to my Melchizedek Busby page and to my group, Emotional Healing with Frequency. There we go. Okay. Okay, so he's asking the kinds of questions that we're able to ask Melchizedek have to do with advice and guidance. So Fabiana, why don't we start with that? Your question is, when will my finances give me some breath, some breathing room, some break? And that's certainly something that I can relate to, having been where I have been in my life as well. So I'm going to, again, set myself aside. Now, again, as a channel, I allow and give permission to this being in particular to come through me to offer his guidance, his wisdom. So even though it looks like it's me talking, is way wiser than anything that I could ever come up with. He has his own views from his perspective, of course, where he's at. Hi, Shiraz. So this takes me setting aside my consciousness some so that he can have leeway. But understand, hi Vanessa, understand that he doesn't have full control over me. It's not like I'm being possessed. This is a being, very, very, very strong being of the light, here with a very specific mission to help humanity raise in vibration in the Earth's ascension process. Okay, so Fabiana. Hi, Jasmine. And about finances. So let's see what he has to say. Abundance is an energy frequency. It is a frequency that carries a very specific definition. And what's interesting to us from our perspective is the meaning of abundance to humans. Many understand that the abundance is not just money. And we are not saying, you in particular, that this is an obsessive thing. We understand that in the human culture, money is needed to purchase things, to purchase freedom, to purchase stress relief, to purchase necessities such as food, clothing, shelter, warmth, vehicles. Unfortunately, the more we focus negative energy and watching where every dime is going, we do not allow the receiving. And we often feel that it can only come through one direction, one source. And we say there are a multitude of ways. And you know this logically. Energetically, however, it feels as though doors are closed all around. And we say to you, the idea of being limited has to do with the framework of the mind. The framework of this money goes here, and then I don't have money for this. When you desire specific money for something that you are concerned about, you often give negative energy to that event. And the negative energy also goes to the concept of money. Like, I hate money for how it makes me feel so helpless. Or, I never have freedom because I don't have money. Or, I would like to experience so many things, but I have no money. And yet, the more you focus on noticing not having money, the more you create it. There are many meditations out there. There are many routines to help shift thoughts. But in essence, it's the frequency that needs to be adjusted. Understanding that money is like air, available as needed. But as soon as you have created a limitation that it must come through one specific way, your air supply is limited. And then you add worry towards it, and the air supply is even more tightened up. And then the shame and the guilt and the anger, and we close up even more. And many, many, many living in scarcity live in this tightness right here. I am part of all that is. As a frequency that would benefit you. And understanding that your place, tiny speck in this vast universe, is connected to everything. And is essentially the same energy as everything. And as you allow yourself to think about this, the tightening opens up. The restrictions and the limitations open up. The next time perhaps you're thinking of how am I going to pay this bill, the direct thought for the direct thing. We want you to consider how vast the sky is. How many stars are in a clear, clear night. And allow yourself to feel the opening of your presence, knowing there's so much more outside of you, rooting for you, than the closed-in, focused thought of how am I going to pay this bill. Many have a hard time getting out of this thought process. We are not saying you are one of them. We are simply saying this is what we see happening. But when you remember that you are part of all that is, and that money is as divine as the bill, and look at it with love of experience, and find something good about being able to pay for something. Pamela and her husband recently got electricity on their land. And as the land or the electricity bills come in, it's easy to think, oh no, how am I going to pay for this? But because it is such a new experience to have electricity there after being years without it, the gratitude still is able to easily be found. How quiet it is. How nice it is to have the microwave. Or to be able to use a light in the middle of the night. And as soon as that energy starts shifting towards gratitude, the tightness that most people live in will start to open. Now, we understand this does not say, when will your finances change? We are simply giving you the tools necessary to understand what needs to take place in order for your finances to change. The shift in mentality, the shift in understanding about money in its place, the hatred around money or the lack of. There are many people that hate money because of what it represents, which is a loss of freedom. Well, what would happen if you experienced freedom in whatever way you could first? Then you might notice financial freedom happening too, because you are more relaxed. And if the relief is really what you're looking for, aim for that feeling instead, to draw what is necessary to receive the outward appearance of that. Okay, and I feel I'm stuck back with that. So I understand it's not easy to want to change something, but I think it's important, like he said, to be aware of what tools are needed to help it to shift on purpose, since we're the ones responsible for it. So I'm just going to scroll up and see what I missed. Let's see. Hi, Shiraz. Hi, Shem. Hi, Blake. Hi, Avi. Oh, you're so sweet, Avi. You're welcome, Fabiana. Hi, Dorothea. Hi, Loretta. Hi, Nicole, Gloria, Elizabeth. Catherine, Aaron, Charanjit, Julie, Becky, Sammy J. Wonderful to see everyone. Hi, Carrie. Okay, so what other, I see there's some other questions in here. Again, you know that I don't play favorites. I see what one Melchizedek chooses to answer. Hi, Melina. Good to see you. So any, and again, let's see here. Hi, Libby. Hi, Vicky. So Shiraz is asking, how do I deal with my family situation at home? And I feel like he's drawn to that. So let's see what he wants to do about that. Okay. So Shiraz has a family about question and how to handle that. So let's see what he wants to say about that. Okay. Trying to deal with the electronics too. Okay. Families provide contrast. They help us to see what preferences we have. And they often do not match others' preferences. But the thing that we would like to bring up for you to consider is how dull it would be if everyone had the same viewpoint, the same understandings, the same preferences, eating the same food, wearing the same clothing and hairstyle, deodorant, shoes. Preferences are what make this world unique. And the exploration of preferences is part of the availability of this world. Now, we understand that this does not always make for a harmonious situation. What we say to you is, many people think that there are specific rights and wrongs. And we say to you, there are many facets, many visions, many views, many choices to be made. The idea of everyone must be pleased is the real notion, the heart of the matter here. Looking for everyone to come to a single agreement, when that's not what this life is about. It is how we view and respond to others' ideas and concepts. And whether or not we take their response to our own personally, do we take others' preferences and choices personally? Do they reflect, do their thoughts and opinions and choices reflect who we are as a person? No. It is a reflection of themselves trying to express themselves in their own unique way. It's this vision of right and wrong, my way or your way. Instead of saying, look how many visions we are seeing right now. Look how many different ways we can look at this. and that you don't have to agree with me and I don't have to agree with you to be happy. You see, we all want to feel understood, which means that someone agrees with us on some level. That means they get us. And then we feel better about ourselves, like we've been given permission to feel a certain way. To be mutually agreeable means there is no other perspectives available or choices available. What we are trying to do is to help you see from a different vantage point, from one that allows each person their own individuality, whether it's based on attitude or ego, whether it's based on understandings and determination or selfishness. It's still their perspective, their choice, and does not reflect on how you must feel personally. Owning who you are, understanding who you are as an individual, will help alleviate the pressure of having to please someone else or having them please you in order for you to be happy. Esther Hicks uses a phrase, if only you would change like this, you would be perfect. Pamela likes that because it shows that there are so much sense of humor. We all want everybody to be a certain way to please us, to act in a certain way so that we feel better or they feel better. When in reality, it's not about trying to make someone happy, because you don't have that authority. But you can choose to be happy in here. You can make the choices of, no matter what they say, I refuse to let it interfere with my peace, with my knowing who I am. Their world is their world, built on their preferences, built on their tastes, their opinions, their attitudes. But it does not reflect who you are personally unless you allow it. We are grateful for this question, especially as we go into these holidays when we know there is tension. Families often work together, although it may not seem it when there's arguing, to help each other past certain issues. And what's the best way to help someone past it? Is it to let it lie sleeping? Or is it to poke it until it breaks loose and something different must be done, and therefore change and growth can happen? Not the most pleasant of experiences, but if you understand that family members actually agree to help each other with these things by being pains in the butt, by being opposites, the choices that we made coming in here allow for this growth, because maybe it's those aggravations that you need in order to look at something differently and correct some thinking. Family is good for this. Family is designed for this. But unless you understand the game plan as you came in here, it can look like it's just a jumbled mess. And why did we ever let this happen? When in truth is beforehand you said, I'll help you with that by being a pain in your butt. Or I'll help you with that because I can be selfish in a fun way. And in exchange, I will receive this. I will receive another way of looking at things. We hope you find this helpful as you go through these next several weeks and beyond. We are grateful that this has come up to discuss. Okay. Okay, very, very interesting. So I'm going to scroll and see what else came through. Catherine says, how can I decide on my future spiritual path, finding it difficult to focus on and find my purpose? I feel Melchizedek's drawn to that question, Garland, Catherine. And I didn't finish reading the comments. You're welcome, Lena. Hi, Ruth. That's a good question, Karen. So let's work with Catherine's and see where we're at that point. And thank you for the idea, Melina, too. If you find that this information, these teachings would be helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you would share this video, because the more people that we can help have these understandings, the easier we can raise the vibration of the planet, which is really what our mission is here to do, to uplift humanity in this ascension process. Shiraz says, thank you so much. Very deep message. Lots to ruminate over. Yeah, it certainly wasn't where I thought he was going to go with it, Shiraz, but I loved it nonetheless. A lot of insight. Okay, spiritual path, and I do feel like he's ready to come through with that. The purpose of this lifetime is also to have fun. To have fun, to have fun, to have fun, to have fun. And to have freedom. And to grow. And you think it must be done in a specific way at a specific time for a specific reason. And we say, Pamela understands that her primary function is spiritual communication and healings. But how she chooses to do that, we work with her. As long as it fits that criteria, there are endless possibilities on how we can do this. We have shifted and arranged part of our work with Pamela because of her personal desires, and she will tell you that in a heartbeat. What we had planned, we still work with, but we also give and take because of the personalities and the fun. The frequency cards weren't necessarily part of the plan, but because of Pamela's loves of cards, she now has 3 decks going on 4. Aren't they beautiful? And that's one back, and this is the other back. This one is the double decker. It has the I Am frequency deck, and it has the Gold Star frequency deck. That's why it's called the double decker, because it has 2. And yes, I am a card nut. And how cool is it that I have some with my name on them now? Anyway, he's wanting to come back through. So you understand there's not one specific way. Through Pamela's own journey, she has explored many areas. And at this point in time, she uses many of them in a single session or a single day. So all the things that she loves and has explored are ways that light her up. And we say those things that light you up are going to carry you forward faster than having to figure out exactly what you're going to do like a rock. Let it lift you. Let it light you on fire with the passion of it. Pamela has many loves. Channeling is absolutely one of them. Cards is probably as high on the list. She loves the feel of crystals, and yet the energy through her hands is her first love. We use all of these in our work together. So we say to you, please allow yourself to not try to box yourself up. Understand that as you explore different venues, you may spiral and come around to the same form and increase the level. The story Pamela likes is like going to grade school. In the beginning, you understand what a number is. You understand what a letter is. You understand about language. You understand about science. And you understand about culture. And then when you go into the next grade level, you expand on these. But what many people think is, now I'm in one thing and this is where I'm headed for the rest of my life. And we say no. You may be interested in numerology or palmistry or mental mediumship or other mediumship or card reading. But understand that each stage, each stop on your path, you're building that connection. You're building that connection, and every thing you decide to add to it builds your knowledge base so that when you work and offer your services, you have more to offer. So don't feel like it has to be one exact way, but it is also good to focus in one area at a time until you feel ready to move on, allowing yourself an opportunity to grow. So we are not saying to invest in 5 different courses. Focus on one, the other, the other, the other. And then you will find coming back around to number 1. So the way that we would suggest is simply what lights you up. The more you connect in with your higher self, with your own soul, the more comfortable you're going to feel anyway. So at bare minimum, we would say connecting in with your soul should be one of the first. And then expanding on the communication skills. Because the more communication is happening, the more information that you can get and receive. The back and forth, the exchange. And then it builds and builds and builds. And then it'll spiral. It'll come around again, only in a higher level. So what is it that lights you up? Catherine, what is it right now that you find interest in for your spiritual path? Hi, Fifi. Catherine says, I love them. The frequencies have really helped me. That's awesome. Karen says, you always get me straight edges out with your messages. Interesting. So what right now is a focus that you have joy in right now, Catherine? And for any of you on your spiritual path, share with us. What is it? Is it Reiki? Is it cards? Is it coaching? What is it right now that lights you up? And we're not talking that you think is going to make money. Please don't go there, because I can tell you, if you're in it for the money, the money will drive you, and the lack of money will end up sending you backwards. Okay? But the joy is infectious, and people are more apt to respond to that. Energy healing, excellent. Excellent, especially since you're interested in the frequencies. Use the energy healing, broaden that. Let me see if there's something in particular around energy healing that they're wanting to maybe point out to you. Okay, so the image that I'm being shown, Catherine, is actually from point A to point B, like it coming and it being received, watching the visual. Okay, understanding that as you're allowing it, it's coming through you. And understanding that sequence is important. I'm not sure why they're saying that, but that's what they're showing me. Jasmine said to be able to add value to others and being appreciated for the help. Yes, indeed. Indeed. That feeling appreciated is huge. And Karen says, me too, energy healing. Ruth says, body healing. Awesome. Listening to the body. Yep. There's a lot of things, again, when you're able to tune in, you can actually ask body parts questions, and you can actually speak to yourself. So hopefully work around those, Ruth, will be beneficial to you. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Ruth. What other ways are you guys exploring for your spiritual paths? I'm glad, Catherine. Because the more motivated, the more joy it brings you, the more excitement, the more apt you are to draw people to you. Because you feel good to be around. Many dreams do have meanings, Carrie. It's discerning which ones are your psyche working out stuff and what ones are messages. You're welcome, Ruth. Okay, I do feel a frequency wanting to come through now, so I'm just going to hold space for it. And the word that the frequency that's coming through is I am divine. Oops, I know you can't see over the, there we go. I'm just going to bring this frequency through. Angelic Reiki with crystals. Awesome, Sharon. Akashic records are amazing, Catherine. In our boundaries tour that we're doing, we have an Akashic records gal coming on, Jumana. I think she's next Wednesday. Very awesome. Very awesome. And this frequency, I am divine, is actually in my frequency deck too, if anybody is interested. On my website, PamelaBusby.com. Feel it working in the heart area. So how do you know which dreams are what? There's a different quality to them. There's a more of a knowing when they're meant as messages. It's usually, and you'll usually wake up right after them, so that kind of lingers on your mind. The ones where your psyche is just working things out tends to be more scrambled. Of course, in the dream state, there is no time, space, reality. There's no limitation. So yeah, usually if you want to know specifically, well, you're welcome to ask your guides to show you the difference, specifically when they are messages for you. Ask them, if this is a message, show me, or even ask them, if you have messages to show me in dreams, please make it clear to me in a way that you can recognize and experience. We forget to ask sometimes, and I'm included. So this frequency is still coming through pretty strong. I love hearing how many of you are feeling the frequency. And where are you feeling it? How does it feel? Very strong and dreamy. Laura says, I feel at my heart chakra like a light tingling feeling. Mm-hmm. Feel like it's working on a knot. So I'm just going to hold space for it. And it's something about worthiness. High pitch in your left ear, Karen. Ruth says, hands and heart jump out. So again, frequencies, working with energy like this really is my first love. And I get to use that, but I had to go through specific training where I practiced with that for a while. And practice with channeling, which I've done since day one. And feeling energy is something that has been near and dear to. So it's like I get to use all these wonderful things, but I had no idea that they were going to be combined. I really didn't. But I'm so excited that they have, because it's like fun all the time, all my favorite things. Yeah. Vanessa says, Lord Melchizedek, please gift us with, I'm not sure what word is missing in that, Vanessa. Nope. I'm bringing through the frequency of I am divine, Sunny. Catherine says, wow, send me astral. I feel energy too. It's powerful stuff. Now, imagine having 54. Well, this deck has more than 54. My I am frequency deck has 54 frequencies in it. And I am divine, I believe, is one of them. Let me just take a look. Actually, I'm going to show you some of these while it's still coming through. Receiving. I am ready. Now, I'm not going to hold these up too long because the frequencies will start to come out and then I'll get nauseous with all of them. I am in my knowing. Look how pretty that is. Ease. Forgiveness. I am that I am. This one is crucial. I am enough. I am safe. I love myself softly. Higher knowing. And gratitude. Oof, that one's strong. I exist. This one, there's been a lot of teachings on this one. For those of you who haven't heard some of the trainings on this frequency, there's, I think, more than one of them in my group, Emotional Healing with Frequency. If you want to join, there's lots of replays where the energies are still active and that you can take advantage of, or you can find these decks available on my website, PamelaBusby.com. I am provided for. Hi, Amber. No, we're going to do cards in a minute here. Freedom. I am limitless. Yes, it's Ask Melchizedek. These are frequencies. In particular, in these cards, they're I am frequency deck. And Melchizedek has infused these cards with frequencies. And the frequency that's still coming through is I am divine. Wow, that one's really strong too. Again, let's talk a little bit about frequencies because I'm feeling guided to. So basically, frequencies are pure energy forms that are not muddled with our stories, that are not muddled with decisions or conclusions that we have made. Oh, interesting, Amber. She got chills with the Limitless card. So the frequencies, again, are pure frequencies from the higher aspect, okay? Down here we have our stories and we have our fear-based personalities or lower selves that sees and creates from this fear level. Now, these frequencies are pure, and what they do is they attract those things that are out of alignment with it, bringing them to the surface to help you heal them. Okay, so clarity, for instance. Okay, the clarity frequency, I'm just going to let that come out for a minute. Clarity helps work through why you're confused or why it's not clear or misunderstandings. Okay, so what happens is when you focus and work with this frequency, you bring those things that are out of alignment with it to the surface to be cleared, so that your frequency of clarity is way clearer. So when you're feeling clear, it's a whole lot easier to move forward on purpose, knowing what you're here to do, knowing where you're going, knowing what actions to take, because the clarity that you have isn't blocked. There is no other step hidden, or there's no, well, these two things conflict, right? So the more that you work with these frequencies, the clearer your energy gets, first of all, because they come and work with you from your higher self. Now, what Melchizedek calls it is the top-down method, where these are pure frequencies, allowing you to work with their crap stuff to heal them, okay? Now, the lower vibrations can't stand or can't exist in a vibration of where there's purity. So that's why it automatically needs to come to the surface, okay? And that's how these frequencies work. And the higher out you... No, I don't have a book to go with the deck. I do have frequency trainings. I think there's going to be a frequency school type thing starting in February with each frequency, exercises to use and how to use them. At this point, he hasn't told me about a book in particular. There is a frequency class going on right now that's already started for my Gold Star frequency deck. But at this point, I don't know about a book in particular. I suspect eventually. But again, that's the way. They're on my website, PamelaBusby.com, under the Frequencies tab. Again, these are self-published, which means they're not made in mass amounts and sold to Hay House or anybody like that. It's little old me. So they are printed on demand, infused with, the cards are infused, and then they get shipped to you directly from the manufacturer. And they ship anywhere in the world. I've had it go to South Africa. I've had it go to Toronto. I've had it to go in the States. So, you know, there's no issue with that because it depends on where they choose to have it actually printed. And they've got printing contracts in several places in the world, the manufacturer that I use. So if you're interested, the 19 frequencies available in my Gold Star deck, that's $30. And my Gold Star frequency is $60, and there's 54 frequencies in that. And then my double decker is still on Christmas special. There are 78 cards. They're both decks combined for $75. That's only through the end of December. This is my favorite, though, to be honest. This is the double decker. It's tarot sized, but it has gold edges. and 2 different backs because there are 2 different decks. That's the Gold Star Frequency deck back, and that is the I Am Frequency deck back. And they're beautiful, in my opinion. Again, the deck that I'm going through now, only tarot size. Okay. And here's one of the Gold Star Frequency. And there are some frequencies in this one that are not in the I Am one, too. And I do have a 4th deck coming out probably in February of Flowers and Frequencies. That one will be $99. There'll be 78 cards in it. So that's a work in progress. Oh, thank you, Catherine. She says, beautiful energy. They are truly amazing. I love them. I love them. Okay, so anyway, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I am supported. I am limitless. Oh yeah, you already saw a lot of these. Let me skip forward. I know who you are. This one helps with family issues too, Shiraz. Because when we can see them for what their meaning is, what their purpose is, it's easier to not judge or to allow them their choices without us taking it personally and having it affect how we feel. My body is divine. Isn't that gorgeous? All is well. Oof, that one is like amazingly strong today. I'm just going to hold this one for just a minute. And then I am going to have to go because I have a client session before too long here. And I need to grab a bite to eat. So again, this is the I Am Frequency deck. If you want to see all the cards, they are on my website and it flashes through each and every one of them. If you want to see what they actually look like, what they feel like for those of you who feel energy. And again, there is no instructions at this point, but there are teachings in my group, Emotional Healing with Frequency. If you're not in there, you're welcome to join and watch some of them to give you ideas on how to use them, how to work with them, and the teachings behind them. Amber says, all is well was strong for me too. Yeah. You know, the screen just doesn't do it justice. Okay, and with that, I'm going to have to close up for today. But thank you all for joining me, and I'm glad that we're able to go through On Their Way to Oz. Follow the yellow brick road. Anyway, so Shiraz was about family. Catherine's was about spiritual path. Fabiana's Fabiana's was about finances. And I know, Karen, we were supposed to work on one, but I have a feeling there's a reason why they didn't in particular. But remind me next time of your question, and we'll see if we can get it in. Unfortunately, I do have to go for today. Again, if you're interested in your own copy, PamelaBusby.com under the frequency cards. And if you're not in my group yet, I would love to have you join Emotional Healing with Frequency. And just a reminder, we have a Boundaries tour going on. Wednesday, we have a guest. Tuesday, I believe we have Divine Messages. The class actually starts on Thursday. So if you're considering, now is a really good opportunity to make that jump because it does start Thursday. And we want to get you in the mind frame. And once you've made that decision, Spirit already starts to work with you. And Melchizedek's got your back when you decide you're committed to it. So with that, Oh, one other thing. For those of you who are local to me, I also have a live event coming up that's included in a woman's workshop for belly work. And there are several spots in the afternoon of different ways of working with your belly. I'm one of them. And it's in the Burlington area, and I can't remember how long it is, but it's on January 12th. And I would love to meet you in person. It's a powerhouse workshop, really working through the stories of the gut and really freeing yourself from the shame and the guilt that we hold there. Okay. So more information about that on my page. And same with the boundaries course. There's plenty on my page around that, and as well on my website. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend and afternoon. Bye for now.